There you go. Hey, good evening. I don't know. It's like 9:30 on a Monday evening of all days and times. Um, it's Illegal Formation Reacts. I'm Chad Bryan. I got TK Dandridge with me. We're just gonna kind of look back on the weekend and I don't know. I guess for a lack of a better term, react to some of the things that happened over the weekend. Um, where do you want to start? I mean, we really didn't get a chance much to talk about the World Series. I should mention that the LA Dodgers did beat the Toronto Blue Jays in 7 games in the World Series this year. Heck of a series, couple of extra inning games. Game 3 was like 2 games long. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of that. I've been working late, so I've been having a hard time watching it. But for Game 3 in particular, put the kids to bed and I fell asleep, whatever, for a little bit. And I woke up and I was like, let me check the final score of the game. And I saw it was going into the bottom of the 18th. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to miss this. I'm going to get downstairs. So I headed downstairs, threw a hoodie on or whatever, grabbed a beer out of the fridge, went and sat down, hadn't opened the beer yet, and Freddie Freeman walks it off. And I was like, man, this game, 6 hours and 39 minutes it went, and I watched it for about, I don't know, a minute and 11 seconds.
12 seconds.
Yeah, that was it. It was over. I didn't even open the beer. I put it back in the fridge and went back to bed. I was like, you know what? Never mind. It wasn't meant to be. So that was that's about the best I did with the World Series this year. We're trying to watch. But yeah, 7 games. Dodgers win it. Back-to-back champions now for the first time since the Yankees in 99 and 2000. I don't know. I mean, I guess when you have a $700 million guy and a whatever. I mean, is anybody surprised that the Dodgers won it? I thought the Blue Jays hung with them the entire series. I thought the Blue Jays were right there.
Toronto was amazing this postseason.
Yeah.
I give those guys a ton of credit, especially Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The emotions that spilled out of that man this entire postseason is definitely very admirable from both a player standpoint, I'm sure, and a fan standpoint for sure that I could see. So, big shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Tough love.
It is. I think, listen, I mean, guys don't have to be motivated by the same thing. I mean, we want guys to be motivated by the love of the game and, wanting to bring a championship to their city or whatever. But I think it was pretty obvious. He pretty much wore his emotions right on his sleeve, man. Like you could see that he wanted it. So it's cool to see that. I think as a fan, sometimes you look at that and you're like, wow, that guy, he cares, not always the case. When you watch some of your favorite players, they don't seem to always care one way or the other. Hey, and if I'm getting paid, $185 million over 8 years or 10 years or whatever, I mean, maybe the level of care goes up, goes down. I don't know. I couldn't really say. I've never been paid that much money to do anything. So,
right.
It's hard to judge. It's hard for me to speak. I guess it's really easy for me to sit in a chair where I don't make 100 and 200 whatever $1 million and say, well, hey, if I made that much money, I'd do this. The truth is, I have no idea what I would do. Right?
No clue at all.
Just no clue. I'd probably buy something really stupid and reckless.
Spend most of it paying off debts.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'd buy something stupid for sure. I don't know what it would be. But again, if I had that kind of money, that kind of money, I'd have time to look into it. I'd probably have a better idea of what I'd want, but not a realistic thing right now. So yeah, it's good to see that though. A good series. I mean, even for a team that has, like I said, the $1 billion payroll, basically. I know you can defer all the money you want, but that money is still there. It's going out sometime. So whatever. Dodgers win the World Series. You can say baseball needs a salary cap. I think they need a salary floor. Baseball has all kinds of issues. I don't know that payroll is necessarily because if it were a problem, if it were just the teams that paid the most, the Mets would have been in the postseason, right? The Mets would have been a problem, but they weren't. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't really say that. I don't know. We've seen the Tampa Bay Rays go make a run at 38 million or whatever for the payroll. I don't know. It's
we made a run.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the Guardians do it. I can't say I started to say the Braves, but I think when the Braves won the World Series in 2021, I think they were a top 10 payroll in the league. So, probably not the best example of that. But yeah, I think plenty of teams get there. I mean, I think it's harder. Certain teams don't seem to be trying. Sometimes I wonder what the Pirates do with any of their assets. I mean, the Guardians seem to do the most with the least. Tampa Bay Rays would be up there as well. Other teams like the Marlins, just the Pirates always seem to have the bargain basement payroll, and they've got the numbers to show for it. But the Guardians are down there in the bottom 7, bottom 10 payrolls, and they're always, they're a top 10 team in the league. Typically, I don't know if that's kind of the Jose Ramirez factor. I think it has a lot to do with scouting and development. I've talked about it before. I don't think there's a better front office at taking a fastball slider guy and developing him into something almost unhittable for whatever amount of time that particular pitcher's prime is. It's just, think of Corey Kluber, what they did with him, and think of Justin Bieber. Wow. Think of Shane Bieber. They made Justin Bieber a great singer, TK. I can't believe I just did that. But yeah, the things they did with Shane Bieber and with Corey Kluber, guys that had been elsewhere and not really highly thought of, whatever, or just, not a huge prospect in the system. And all of a sudden they come out of nowhere, right? And they're unhittable. They're untouchable. When they have their stuff, they're absolutely untouchable. And I think that's just scouting and development. Mostly development. You obviously have to identify that ability in a guy, but to be able to cultivate that and get it to the next level. A lot of organizations, the Braves in particular, don't really develop pitching that well. They've got a ton of prospects, but they never really seem to, hit at the next level. Spencer Strider was there for a minute. Obviously, some injuries have held him back. There are other guys. We're not going to get into it, but I just feel like the Guardians do a really, really good job with that. And I don't know if it's out of necessity or if they've got something figured out that the rest of the league doesn't have. But they're like head and shoulders above the rest of the league, don't you think? Choked up with emotion over there. I think you're so shocked by their scouting and development prowess. All right. I can move on if you don't want to talk to me. I'm just kidding. You froze up on me. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you were frozen on me.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Almost every episode. I do apologize. Guys, folks, sorry about that. I definitely think they're definitely in a great place, especially since you don't need to have a salary cap in baseball. I think baseball is the only sport that doesn't have one. Yeah. You think about all the four major sports leagues in America right now: MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL. Obviously, the NHL guys are the least paid, which is crazy to me. But I get it. Not necessarily the most popular sport in America, even though the popularity started to grow a bit. Yeah. I am definitely an avid hockey fan. Have been for, I want to say, 14 years now. Okay. My knowledge isn't as good as it should be for a fan of the game for 14 years, but it's decent. Anyway, but yeah, they're definitely in good hands. It definitely helps to have a great scouting department, especially when you don't have a salary cap. So it doesn't matter who you pay or how much you pay them. Just as long as you get the right guys in the fold, and you can make those happen. So yeah, they're definitely in good hands.
Yeah, I think just to like I said, to be able to develop that kind of pitching at this level is, and they're so consistent with it. They don't. It's not like a magic formula, really, that we can see. It's just, like I said, just fastball, slider guy, location. They're just somehow they turn them into really, really good pitchers. But I think that's pretty cool. Whatever, we can move on. I want to talk about. I guess we'll get to. Let's talk about the Browns. We got to talk about the Browns quick. I wasn't sure which order I wanted to do the show in, but so I guess the first thing I'll mention about the Browns is they didn't lose this weekend. I thought that was pretty impressive. I was nervous even going into a bye week, TK. I was a little nervous. I thought, you never know. Worst case scenario. Well, anyway, Kevin Stefanski announced that he's given up play calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. I think a lot of people are going to think this is way, way overdue. Maybe it appeases some of the fans that want him out of there. I doubt it. At the end of the day, he's still the head guy. There on the sidelines, on the headset. He's got veto power, right? Like, if Tommy Rees starts calling, reverses and all kinds of crazy flea flick, I'm sure Kevin Stefanski goes, no, it's
now
3rd and 19. Let's run the ball off tackle.
we remember not too long ago, he did the same ordeal with Alex Van Pelt when he was our OC, relinquishing the play calling. And I think he did something similar with Ken Dorsey as well. And Ken Dorsey lasted only half the season. Alex Van Pelt was fired soon after. So I am not at all impressed by what Kevin has just done. Honestly, I would love to see how genuine this transition truly is. Because right now I'm skeptical. I don't see.
I don't think it's one of those things we're going to see on the field. I don't think we're even going to notice. Yeah. That's the thing. All this does is shields him from any responsibility and accountability if someone gets fired. That's it.
Right. I'm thinking the same thing, because it's like, okay, we're going to go with Dylan Gabriel yet again. Yeah. Not necessarily angry at that. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what exactly are we going to be doing? Do we trust him to push the football down the field? Yes, I understand we're going against the New York Jets in Gotham City, against a team that is revitalized and rejuvenated after their first win of the season. But do you really trust 8 to consistently push the football down the field, hit those out routes, beat that cover 2 or whatever you may need, to find the open receiver down the sideline? Do you really trust him to do all that? I'm not too sure. Hopefully he works the seams with both David Njoku and Harold Fandon. Apparently David Njoku is not getting traded, so that's something to look forward to.
Haven't heard any rumblings at all. Yeah, nothing.
Right, in this week's game. So, it's just a whole lot of, we'll see. We'll see you guys Sunday. We'll see what happens then. Right now, especially fresh off of a bye week and after a loss that we suffered in New England like we did, that's kind of, I don't think that comforts anybody. I don't think that gets anybody feeling all warm and fuzzy that we have a new offensive play caller to call the plays from our already cemented dog shit playbook, in which we may have to jazz some things up maybe. Hopefully they spend some time this bye week jazzing some things up, working on some audibles or what have you. But we're going to see Sunday in Gotham City. We damn sure will see.
There's a lot of we'll see with the Browns. I think I was going to say over the last few years, but over the last 26 years, since they've come back, it's been we'll see. I think one thing that, I guess speaking of seeing, you talked about, beating the cover 2 or throwing the out routes down the field. Can Dylan Gabriel even see down the seam when the safety abandons that spot? When the safety gets a little too far one way or the other. Can Dylan Gabriel really even rip a pass down the seam if he's got that open? Not just can he throw it, can he see it? Can he see that play develop? Those are things that I think are a concern.
Right. I'm not the guy to bash a quarterback for his size.
No.
Because like we said before, we've seen smaller guys get the job done before. Yes, it is an adjustment. Of course, I've talked about Flutie before, but obviously even with him at 5'8", for the football sometimes and to see over his big guys and, all of that. So we get it. It's going to be a problem, at some point in time. Is it something that I worry about all the time? No, I don't, because I do think he's intelligent enough and cerebral enough to know exactly where his players are going to be. Not to mention he is mobile enough to get in and out of the pocket, rolling out, extending plays. He is a play-action quarterback, which is, the big reason as to why Kevin Stefanski likes him so much. Yeah. So, I think, just get him rolling out. Don't try to make him Peyton Manning. He is not a pocket passer, strictly pocket passer, I should say. He's not 6'5" either. So, just continue to roll him out. Maybe not every play, but give him a ton of play action to work with. Shouldn't be that much of a problem. I don't think. You see I'm trying to squeeze out every ounce of confidence in the guy that I possibly can right now. I don't want to bag on him. I just want to win. I don't want to bag on the kid. I don't want to go the groupie. I just want to win football games. That's really all I'm here for.
Yeah, I don't have a guy. I don't have a horse in the race, if that's the saying here. I just, like you said, I would like to see the Browns win. That's all I really care about. It's not even like, it's not just trying to dump on his height. It's just what I've seen from watching the Browns play, and it's the things that I see from Dylan Gabriel, where, it's like he anticipates a route being there, but it's clearly not. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
there's a patient involved, but you also have to see. You have to kind of get a feel. And I know that takes time. You got to play, right? To know to get a feel for it and a feel for the speed of the game, you do have to play. You got to take snaps. I get it. We can't give him 2 or 3 games and say, okay, well that didn't cut it. You're out of here. Unless he's so bad, you know. Uh,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like now you're kind of handcuffing Shador Sanders' development a little bit because he's got to play too, right? I mean, these guys have to play. If for no other reason than just to know what you have. Um,
Exactly.
I think at this point, I mean, you're 2-6. You're coming off the bye week. You're not exactly gearing up for a playoff run. You're not gearing up to, get the wild card and secure a game. That none of that's even on their mind. I mean, we're already moved on to the draft. We're thinking about the trade deadline, not in the sense of what you can go get to help this team,
Right.
as some reports seem to have suggested, but I mean more in a sense of what kind of assets can we bring back, and apparently
Mhm.
not much. I mean, it doesn't look like the Browns are making any kind of movement. Um, I saw the Eagles, or not the Eagles. I saw the Ravens just traded for Draymond Jones right before we went on the air.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes them a little bit more solid, pass rush, whatever. I think
Jalen
that's
Phillips was also flipped from the Miami Dolphins. He's going to the Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah. So it looks like the Eagles settled. They didn't have the 14 first-round picks that it was going to take to get Miles Garrett from UTK, so they had to settle for Jalen. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that trade actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
don't
got to be
know.
responsible for them. You guys just won a ring last year. I really don't give a damn to continue to shape the story of other franchises' Super Bowl winning glory. I just don't care to do that.
I
And
get
if
it.
you want us to bite into doing that, you're going to have to forfeit a lot to get me to even be interested in trying to do such a thing. Because, like I said, you guys are already champions. Decade alone, Eagles fans were very spoiled with great football teams, like they weren't before. They just didn't win Super Bowls, but now
Yeah.
they do. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Hey,
listen, you gotta cough up them picks, baby. That's just
right.
that's just about it.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I get it. I don't know. I just it looks like the Browns aren't going to be really moving much either way, and they could surprise us tomorrow. We could see a big deal tomorrow. I don't think. I think about you said you mentioned Njoku doesn't look like he's going anywhere. I think that's probably about the ceiling of like maybe the biggest player that they would move at this point now. Um, Miles Garrett's not going anywhere. That's not going to happen. I
Neither
feel
is
like we,
Denzel.
we we know that. We can say that now. Denzel Ward's not going anywhere. None of the it's just this team is what it is going forward, which I mean, I don't know. Does it get better with Kevin Stefanski not on play calling duties? Like you said, it's just somebody else calling the same offense. It's not like they didn't switch offenses overnight. Tommy Reese didn't bring in a 5 wide. I mean, there's no structural change. There's no
I don't know.
organizational change. It's just somebody else's perspective on what's already there, which may help. I don't know. I mean, maybe it helps. I have no idea. I guess it depends on how well Tommy Reese connects with Dylan Gabriel and how well. I mean, you have to execute. It doesn't matter who's calling the plays if you can't execute and execute it. By executing, I mean you've got to get some blocks up front, right? Like you got to have guys get a hat on somebody and give Dylan Gabriel some kind of time in the pocket. Even though that may not be where he wants to stay, I think that he at least needs to have something clean in front of him so that, I mean, he's a guy that needs to scramble a little bit to create throwing angles, right? Sometimes with the lack of height, that's what you have to do. You got to get outside the pocket a little bit and give yourself an angle to make a throw. He really hasn't had a whole lot of time to do that. It's not like he's been super comfortable in the pocket. But again, I've seen times where Gabriel will just throw to a spot because, hey, the play dictates that that's about the time that the receiver should be there without bothering to even look. I mean, did they drop a defensive end back in coverage? Is there a safety coming
Right.
down? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, when
I've
you
seen him
speak
throw into
about the
triple coverage
offensive
and
line,
not even realize it.
when you speak about the offensive line, it's odd enough that this past game against the New England Patriots, we actually finished 10th league wide in pass protection. We only gave up 1 sack that game.
Mhm.
Granted, Miles Garrett was able to do his thing and tear up the game on the other side of the football. We collectively gave up 1 sack and still lost by 19 points.
Yeah.
So I honestly think, a lot of this is, yes, our offensive line is aging and both middling at the same time.
Yeah.
There are some players that I definitely think we need to move on from, i.e. Wyatt Teller and Jackie Conklin. Retiring after the season. I hate to send him out like this, but regardless of the fact, I thank him for coming back for 12th season. But yeah, I just think sometimes the blame has got to be shifted, not necessarily evenly, but accordingly. So I definitely think Dylan Gabriel just had a bad game against the Patriots. A lot of 4-yard, 5-yard checkdowns, not really looking down the field much. There wasn't really too much pressure in his face. He just played a stinker of a football game out in Foxborough. And you hope it doesn't repeat itself against the Jets, because if it does, his ass is going to be on the bench very swiftly.
Yeah, I just don't think he's necessarily. It's not even not. It's not. I don't want to say he's not seeing the field as I'm not trying to. Again, it has nothing. I'm not trying to talk about his height. I'm not trying to pile onto that. I just think he's just not anticipating the game very well right now. He just doesn't have a good feel for.
He's really not.
What it feels like in the pocket, what the offense really, and who really does. I mean, who has a good feel for this offense? I don't think we even really know what it is. I mean, they've got no identity. They've got there's nothing there that you can say that this is the Browns thing, right? Like this is what they do.
Ed's offense brought into the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty bland. I mean, it reminds me of video games back in the day where you had like 12 plays. It was like 6 run plays and 6 pass plays, and that was it. And you might be able to you could flip flop them. Like, okay, I can either run off, I can run the 1 or the 3 hole. That's it, right? Like that's I got my 2 runs up the middle. I can go either way. I can go off tackle either way. I can throw a couple of tight end outs. I can throw a deep ball, or I can punt. I mean, and that's it. Like. And mostly it's punt because that stuff doesn't move the football, but that's what it feels like. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's whatever. So now Tommy Reese is going to pick between those 12 plays and do that for the Browns. So yeah, that'll be fun. I don't know that it helps. Again, I don't know that it's like a grand gesture from maybe Kevin Stefanski. Maybe if you put him on, if you really, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's being truthful. Maybe he says, or maybe he means what he says when he says that it's time. This would help the team, whatever. Trying to help the team win. I have no idea. It just feels to me again like he's shielding himself from that accountability. When it all goes south, you've got a finger to point and say, "Well, hey, it was on Tommy Reese this time." I don't know what happened to Ken Dorsey last year, but same thing happened to Tommy Reese. Wild. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
This has to be all of Kevin. If we're gonna give him credit for appointing Mike Prefer, the former special teams coach, to coach the playoff game that we won, we have to give him credit for the disgusting offense that has been displayed over the past 2 seasons. Whether the OC now it's Van Pelt, whether it Ken Dorsey, or whether who's going to be Tommy Reese. It does not matter. We got to give him the same type of energy for these decisions, because ultimately it is his decision. This is his coaching staff. He's going to put people in positions that he wants them in, and they're going to have to answer to his honor. And that's just how it is. Yeah. So if we're going to give him the credit for making the changes for a playoff game in which we won, we have to give him the same amount of flack for when things go awful. And as we've seen today, as of today, he's gotten 2 offensive coordinators fired. And if Tommy doesn't pull magic out of the hat these final 8 games, might be a 3rd, and that is just a shame.
And but it's funny because as a Browns fan, I'm not even really sure what pulling magic out of a hat looks like over the last 8 games. Is it scoring 20 points twice? I mean that would be a huge development for this team. I mean, I don't know. I mean, as sad as that is, I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know. Now, ideally, you would say, well, it would be for the franchise to go 5-3, right, over the last 8 or whatever. 6-3 over these last 9 games, whatever it is. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. But all that really does, that ruins your draft status now. Like, again, the Browns most likely aren't. They're not equipped to make a run and get into the playoffs. They're not gonna. They're just not built to be a team that goes 7-2 down the stretch and comes back and we go, wow, they came back and won the AFC North. I mean, as wide open as it is, this division is. We talked about it's wide open. But the Browns, they just, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what you build for if you're the Browns. Do you? I'm just at a loss with this team right now. And every week it's something. And like I said, Kevin Stefanski giving up the play calling duties is fine. And we can move on. But it just really feels like, again, shielding himself from that accountability. But if you think about it from a business standpoint, if you have a CEO who's in charge of hiring the managerial staff and he keeps hiring the wrong people to manage the wrong things, don't you move on from that CEO after a while? Don't you go, hey, maybe you don't have, quite the grip on this company or the way it works that we thought you had. We got to go a different route. We got to go a different direction, but we just keep going the same direction with the same guys. And that direction is straight down. it's right down the hill. Whatever. So fun. Let's talk about a team again. We'll just kind of, I guess there's not a whole lot of trade deadline stuff going on right now. I was hoping to get some new updates. I'm kind of watching my phone and I'm watching my screen here. There's not a whole lot going on. I just don't see much going on right now. But let's just talk about the Ohio State-Penn State game because we had talked about it on Saturday a little bit, how Jim Knowles probably felt like he wanted to come in and slow this offense down, this Ohio State offense down. It's like a Mike Vrabel situation with the Browns and the Patriots, right? Like Knowles knows, I don't know, as much as anybody in the country about this Buckeyes offense, especially the personnel. I mean, he sees these guys in practice. I mean, this is who he's seen. I mean, whatever. I mean, obviously not Julian Sayin, but I think he'd at least probably was aware of what Sayin could do. And if not, he's certainly seen the film from this year. Sayin, man, more touchdowns than incomplete passes against Penn State. What do you make of that? Are you frozen on me again? I think you're frozen. Just until TK gets back, I'll elaborate. Julian Sayin was 20 of 23 for 316 yards against this Jim Knowles defense at Penn State. 4 touchdowns on Saturday. Bo Jackson ran for 105 yards, 13 carries, 105 yards, almost 10 yards a carry. The Buckeyes seem to be able to move the ball and score at will against Penn State and Jim Knowles. And I think I got TK back in here. Hey, you're live. I see you moving. You're good, man. You're good. Yeah, but listen, we talked about Knowles wanting to get the job done. Did not get the job done at all. Two-part question for you, and I'll start with the first thing. I mean, how is Penn State feeling about Jim Knowles going forward at this point?
To be honest, I don't think anyone in Happy Valley should be too impressed with what JK has done with his defense. I mean, obviously, we talked about the loss to UCLA earlier this year.
Yeah.
And obviously giving up 38 points to the Ohio State Buckeyes. I understand we're the best team in the country. We've got 5-star recruits everywhere. I understand all that. But so far, it has not been good at all for Mr. Knowles. So, yeah, as far as the comfort level, it should be anywhere from a 4 to about a -2.
It's not a very good comfort level. Do you think that – I mean, they're going to bring somebody in. They're going to bring someone in, someone with a name. Well, obviously, they're going to have a name. But, someone that's kind of a household name. You would think they're going to try to bring someone with a household name to coach this team going forward and to kind of take this program and I don't want to say turn it around because they've been one of the top, 15 or 20 programs in college football, I think, over the last 20 years or so, and especially since James Franklin's been there. Just not quite, able to turn the corner and get the wins against the top 5, top 10 teams. And we know the records. We don't have to hash it up. I mean, we've talked about it. But they want to bring someone in there who can help turn the corner. I think it's going to be a mix of understanding NIL, right? Using the transfer portal to their advantage. You still have to recruit, but then once you recruit, we talked about the NIL because you got to keep kids there now. So you're almost working against the transfer. You're working with the transfer portal and you're working against it at the same time. It's tough, right? It's not easy to be a head coach. Ask Dabo Swinney. I mean, he's got his hands full right now. We'll get to him at another time, but
that one might be out the door soon.
Yeah, well, hey, he said if Clemson doesn't want to win, then they can move on. But he's 3-5, so I don't know. That's maybe not.
They might, Diaz. They might.
Yeah, he might be gone. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. I think Penn State wants to bring in someone with a name, and are they going to keep Jim Knowles around? I mean, Jim Knowles, his defense wasn't great in his first year in Columbus, right? But it wasn't this bad. I mean, you didn't see the Buckeyes losing games like this. I mean, there were times when they lost, you could pinpoint certain things that, schematically, you looked at the defense and it's like, well, hey, did Jim Knowles forget about like the entire field between the seams, like with a running quarterback? I mean, are we just really gonna? I've said it on the show before. Jim Knowles was pretty famous to me for sending too much pressure off the edge and leaving the middle of the field wide open for a running quarterback. I mean, giving away 10, 15, 20 yards sometimes at a time on a scramble. Free first downs. You're getting a first down. It's Oprah out here. You're getting a first down. Everybody getting a first down. I mean, it was think about Oregon the first time. I mean, at Oregon, every time, and it's our guy, Dylan Gabriel, like every time he was in trouble, what did he do? He's ran the ball up the middle. I mean, it was free. It was right there. And a lot of teams haven't beaten Ryan Day with that, but when the Buckeyes did lose, like I said, you could usually kind of pinpoint something schematically that went wrong with Knowles' defense. And if I'm a guy coming in and I don't know if I want to keep him around. I mean, I'm not even sure what his contract looks like with Penn State, TK. I don't know if there's a buyout, but do you think realistically we could see him be a one and done in Happy Valley or no?
Yeah, the possibility of him being a one and done at Happy Valley is very, very low. I'm sure they probably don't want to do anything too drastic, but at the same time, when you're 3-5, you have. So yeah, it may very well be early exit for Jim Knowles as a defensive reporter for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yeah. Well, and I think we might be having some connection. We might have to make an early exit ourselves tonight. I'm having a hard time keeping you around. We want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to keep missing what you're saying, but Penn State did have a little bit of success in the first half, kind of running the football a little bit, moving the ball. Obviously, a late turnover helped, but the Buckeyes were efficient on defense again. Again, one quick question just before we go. Julian Sayin, 20 to 23. I said it before, 316 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's completed over 80% of his passes now on the season. Is he? I think this is a ridiculous question, but I mean, he's a legitimate Heisman candidate at this point now, right? I mean, don't you expect to see him on the stage at that presentation?
Absolutely. I think Julian Sayin has been absolutely incredible for the Ohio State Buckeyes this season. I wasn't really sure how the transition was going to go at the quarterback position for the Ohio State Buckeyes, but Julian Sayin definitely taking a stranglehold over that job and was absolutely excellent. I definitely think he should be a front runner for the Heisman. Granted, that may be me just being a homer, but I really don't care at this point. I can be as biased as I choose. I think he's been absolutely wonderful, and I definitely think he's going to be in the conversation. We might end up seeing him in New York this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's realistic. People, it either goes from like he's not getting any press at all, which he really doesn't get a ton of media run. But if you look at the Heisman odds, he's third. I mean, as far as the odds makers are concerned, he's putting up the numbers and he's doing the things that he needs to do. And really at this level, it's just don't make a lot of mistakes and win games, right? I mean, that's all you really have to do. But he's going so far above and beyond that. I mean, again, a completion percentage of over 80%, that's ridiculous. I mean, it just shows you what kind of a feel he has. And then you can say whatever you want about great receivers this, great receivers that. Someone still has to put the ball on them, right? You still have to like put the ball on the guys in time within the the constraints of the offense. I mean, you have to know where guys are going to be. You can't just it's not just running, 4 deep and just launching the ball downfield. And I've got 4 guys that are faster than anybody in the league, so they go catch the ball. That's not how it works. I mean, we've seen him make some 20-yard outs. He hits slants on the money, all these drag routes that Ohio State likes to run to create. I mean, he's on time with it. I just think it's remarkable what he's done. He's playing really, really well. Seems to see the field well. He's pretty decent under pressure. He hasn't done anything that I've seen that makes me worry. I mean, he's not the fleetest of foot. I mean, I get it. He's not. It's fine. He's not going to go out and run for 160 yards. He's not Johnny Manziel, with the legs or whatever. But he doesn't have to be. His arm more than makes up for that. You've still got people that I think I'm not sure what Ohio State fans expect sometimes. I really don't know. I still see people saying, this guy's not the guy. He's not the guy. What about Aaron Nolan? Why we let him? Why we do this? Why we do that? That's the future. That's the future. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, you can't do much better than completing over 80% of your passes and not turning the ball over. I'm sorry, what's that?
There is no pleasing a majority of Ohio State Buckeyes fans, Chad. It just isn't.
No.
You saw how
maybe I need to let go of it. Yeah, maybe I need to let go of the fact that they're ever going to be pleased. But it's wild to me to watch a guy play this well and to see the comments of people wanting to move on from him. I mean, I can't imagine what you're seeing when you're watching football. Like, are we not watching the same game? I don't think he could be doing much better. But yeah, anyway, the Buckeyes win 38-14. They're 8-0. Let's look at their schedule real quick before we get out of here, because November, November is an important month when you talk about college football. They are at Purdue for a 1:00 kick. That's a weird time, but with the time change, I guess it's going to be a 1:00 kick on Saturday on the 8th. Then they're UCLA at home. They've got Rutgers. Apparently that game time is to be determined. They might flex that into a primetime game. Ohio State Rutgers, that big matchup. And then obviously, Thanksgiving weekend, they're at Michigan at the Big House. So I don't want to say who really cares about these next 3 games, but I mean, who really cares about these next 3 games? Like, you worry about UCLA a little bit because they've become dangerous now since the coaching change. All of a sudden they're kind of like this Cinderella team that's like ruining people's seasons. I mean, they completely destroyed Penn State. I think they just toppled, the tower that was Penn State over. I mean, anything Penn State had left, they lost in that loss to UCLA. So I don't know. You worry about that game a little bit. I guess when you talk about Ross-Ade Stadium, you go to Purdue. I mean, that's a place where the Buckeyes have struggled in the past, but I don't even like to bring that up because these are teams from 15, 20 years ago, 10, 12 years, whatever. It's not relevant. It's not the same thing. Those kind of things don't have an effect on whatever, but there are certain stadiums sometimes that are just, for whatever reason, they're tougher for you to play in, no matter who's on the field or who's been there before, what's happened in the past, whatever. Are you worried about this game at Purdue, or are you worried about UCLA at all before they get to this Michigan game in 4 weeks, or no?
Opponent, regardless of how inferior they may be, but at the same time, as good as this football team is, there's no reason.
Yeah, I'm losing you again, man.
We back?
You're in and out. You're in and out.
Okay.
We're struggling to keep you tonight, man.
Right. Sorry about that. But anyway, I don't think we should struggle against any of these universities at all, especially UCLA. They are the worst one. Rutgers game may be somewhat of a challenge, I think, but I think we'll handle it. We've lost to Michigan 4 straight years in a row. I do not expect it to be 5. If it is 5, we got a problem. But hey, all will be forgiven if we go back to the national championship and win it again. Because you see how quick we forgot about that loss to Michigan once we hoisted up that trophy. And I keep trying to tell people, we need to worry about our hardware. The national championship is going to be more important than any game against Michigan ever. They can have that. They can have that. They still got that national championship trophy. It's kind of got a little bit of a taint to it, a little bit of a stank to it.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, man.
Hey, listen, man. I think okay, you're back. I was gonna say there's a little bit of stank to your Wi-Fi router right now, but you're back. You're back in.
Yeah, tell me about it.
should be able to handle these next few games very easily heading into the college football playoff.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't expect the Buckeyes to lose at Michigan. I didn't expect the Buckeyes to lose in Columbus last year. I didn't expect the Buckeyes to lose at Michigan 2 years ago. So what I expect doesn't really matter. They've got to go out and execute on the field. They can't play like they're scared to make the mistakes. I think that's been the biggest difference, at least in the last 2 years. I mean, Michigan has been so much more just physical and sure of themselves, right? On the offensive, defensive lines. They've manhandled Ohio State up front on both sides of the ball. Can't have that again this year, obviously. There's all kinds of stuff that we can get into with it, but I think we'll wait until it gets a little bit closer to the game. Maybe we'll do a special episode where we do like an hour preview that morning. It'll basically be like the preview show that we do on Sundays, but we'll do it that Saturday morning right before leading up to the Ohio State Michigan game. We'll see what we can do. But let's get out of here for tonight. I think we're having some connection issues, and I think it might be better to just go ahead and call it a night. We're going to hand our play calling duties over to Tommy Reese for the night. We're done. That's it. We're not calling any more plays. Tommy Reese, you got it from here. So Tommy Reese up next on the inside. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, for TK Dandridge, I'm Chad Bryan. This has been another episode of Illegal Formation Reacts. We will see you guys. I don't know, TK and I will see you Saturday morning on Illegal Formation, and then we'll see you back here Sunday morning. We'll preview another miserable Browns game where I'm sure, going to be a whole bunch of fun to watch. The show will be great. Definitely catch the show Sunday morning at 11. But the Browns, we'll commiserate over what we're about to see together, right? Maybe we'll go from a cup of coffee in the morning to maybe we'll start pouring the bourbon. Is it too early to pour the bourbon before? Maybe we'll talk about it.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, I'll do it anyway. Whatever. Again, TK, great show. I appreciate it. We appreciate viewers. Again, just check out the Inside Edge Network. I'm stumbling over my words here because I got stuff, notifications popping up everywhere. I'm trying to read. Doesn't mean anything important. I'm hoping to get you guys some breaking news on the trade deadline. That's not happening. Whatever, we're going to get out of here. Just please, like I said, check out the other shows on the Inside Edge Network. We appreciate it. Follow us on social media. Engage with us as much as you can. It helps us grow, and it helps us reach you, and it kind of helps us, have that contact, that communication that we want with you guys. So we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.